Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the second module of this class. And the title of this module is Importing and Assembling Media. Let's begin. Okay, so in the previous module, we explained a lot of things. We talked about the different panels on the Premiere Pro interface, and most especially we talked about the project panel, and that the project panel is where our files are imported. That is the place where we import our files. So we are going to continue from there now. So for us to start creating video, the first thing we need to do is to import our files. Yeah, so let's get started. To import your files, there are three different ways in which you can import your files. First of all, you could double click import media to start, like I said in the previous module. Also, you could come here, click on your file, then import, and then it brings you to it opens up your Windows Explorer for you to search where your video is and bring it into your Premiere Pro. Also, you could also drag it in, but I'm not really in for that. I don't really like that method. So let's just import our files through this. Let's double click import media to start. So it opens up your Windows Explorer. So my files, my footages, I already kept them in a document. Like I explained in the previous module, it is very important for your work to be organized. Yes, organization is the key. It's just like going to the market and buying your foodstuffs, your ingredients, and then just putting all of them and just putting all of them in a drawer. You're going to waste a lot of time digging through and searching for what you need at the particular point in time. Imagine that you're already cooking and then you need your seasoning cube. Is that the time when you start searching for seasoning cube? No, you would have organized everything. The seasoning cube should be in this jar. The veggies should be here in this tray here, that kind of thing. So your work needs to be organized. You understand? So I will open up where my documents, my footages, and my music and my sound effects are. So I save them up here. I go to desktop, then here video editing class, then video one assets. That is where you could organize your own anywhere you want it to be. So you would see here that I named my folder. My folders are named. It is very important for you to name your folders so that it can help with recognizing it. Name your footages, name your music, so that it will help you to be able to, to walk faster and smoother. Yes, it helps your work to be faster and to be smoother. So first of all, let's import our footages. Let's import our footages. So I want to import everything, and you'll see that I named it F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, and F6. This is for the sake of this class because I would love you, yeah, I would love you to be able to understand what I am doing. Yeah, that is why I named it. So we will be arranging these videos in this order, and that is why I named it in this order. So I want to import everything because we're going to be using everything. So I am going to either click on Ctrl A to highlight everything, or click on the first one, then press hold down shift and then click on the last one. So it will highlight everything. You can see here F6, F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. Then click on open. Yeah, so when it gets here, you are like, okay, the next thing I want to do is to import my music and then also my sound effects. So is it okay for me to also just import my sound effects into this kind of a thing like this? No, it is very important for you to also arrange your footages into what we call bins, B-I-N-S, bins. Now, bins is the folder for Premiere Pro. Instead of calling it folder, in Premiere Pro we call it bin. And this is where you will find your bins. You see here, you see new bin. Yes. So you click on new bin, it brings it up. So I'm going to be calling that bin footages. 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 So this is where I'm going to be keeping my footages. Also, I'm going to be opening another bin, new bin, and I'm going to be calling that music. Then the last footage the last bin I'll be opening will be for sound effects. Sound effects. I hope you're getting what I'm doing. Now, if this place looks too clustered and too small for you, you can enlarge it by coming to these edges. You would see this icon popping up when you get to the edge. Yes, so you click down and you drag it to enlarge it so you can see better. You can always enlarge, edit your workspace as you want so you can see better. So for this also you can also view it. You don't have to always view it in this way. There are different forms to view it. You have your list view, it will just list your work. You have your icon view, it will show the icons of the video to make it easier to recognize. Also your freeform view, where you can just disorganize it as you want. I don't really like this freeform, but I prefer the icon view because it is more organized and I can see my work before clicking on it. So, like I said, we already have our bins. We have our footage bin, the music bin, and we have the sound effect bin. Now, I will move all my footages into the footage bin, my music into the music bin, and my sound effects into the sound effects bin. So let's continue. So I will just click on the first one, then press and hold down shift, click on the last the last footage rather, then drag it into my footage bin. So you see that there is nothing, no other footages are outside here. You can only see your footages, music, and sound effects, those bins. So when I need my footages, I open up my footages and I have access to my footages. Do you understand? I hope you're getting me. I know you are. So the next thing now, I'll go back. You can see this short arrow telling me to go back. Yeah, something like a move backward arrow. So I click on it and then I open my music footage. So this is where my music is going to be. So I'm going to be importing my music. Import. I went to file and then import. So open where my music is. You know where yours are, all your footages are, so you can always import them from there. So I will open my music, open it up and click on it. That is, I named it as background music. So I'm going to open it up and then yes, it is right in my music bin. So we'll go back again, open up the sound effects bin. Yeah. So I will import all of my sound effects that I'm going to be needing in this video. I'll go to desktop, you know where yours is, open up sound effects, copy everything, open everything. So yes, you have all your music in it, you have all your sound effects rather in your sound effects bin. So now we have our work organized. What next? So yeah, what next? I explained in the previous module that you can preview your footages in the source panel. In this source panel, you can always preview it. So you're going to see how that looks like now. So let's open up our footages. F1. Let's click on F1 because that will be the first video that will be bringing the first footage, right? That will be bringing into our timeline. So I'm going to double click on it. so that I can view it in my source panel. So you see, this is my source panel, and in it I can always play it. You see, I can play it to see the whole video. And so that I can play it again and see it plays up. Okay, so if there is any part of this video that I don't want, I'm going to cut it away before bringing it into my timeline, but I think I want it, so I'm just going to drag it from here and drag it into my timeline. You can also drag it from your project monitor or your project panel. You can drag it and drag it to your timeline. Yeah, so whichever ways you want to do it, you know what is best for you. So we already have, and you see, as I dragged it inside, once I dragged it inside, my video pops up. Yes, that is what happens. Your video will automatically show in your program monitor that I said is your screen. You don't even have to do anything, it will just pop up. In this timeline, organizing your clips, you can always just drag your clips, put it in front of each other, or just put it on top of each other, as per these are your footages. Now your footages goes up here, you will see v1, v2, v3. The v there means video, and then not just video, you can also add graphics like your text, your presets and other things to these tracks. I call them tracks. You see these lines, these tiny lines, they are called tracks. So for this v1, this is your video track 1. This v1 now is your video track 1. This v2 now is your video track 2. Your v3 is your video track 3. So depending on the project you're working on, you could have a lot of videos stacked on top of each other, and you could just have a few stacked on top of each other. That is depending on the type of project you're working on. Then the lower side here, you can see A1, A2, A3. This is your audio 1 track, this is your audio 2 track, and your audio 3 track. So audio means anything background music, your sound effects, your voiceovers, anything audio. This is where you drag it into. Do you understand? So I already brought some things I don't want. I already disorganized it, so I'm just going to undo them by clicking on Control Z. Yeah, and they are all gone. So I want this footage for now. I want this footage for now. So like I said, this is our project, this is our timeline, and you can always view it in your program monitor. So when I play it now, can you see that it starts playing in your program monitor? If I add the next video in front of it, it continues automatically with the next video. Once I add the next, it continues with the next video without even having to stop. So that is what your program monitor does. So coming back here, I will just drag in the next video, the footage rather, which is F2. So I'm going to bring it in. This footage, video where the coffee is. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you this. We'll be working on a short coffee video. Yeah, just like an inspirational coffee video. Just like, oh my god, I think I really like food. I really love food. Yes, because now I'm talking about coffee again, and I'm already celebrating. Come on, who is going to help me? Okay, so we're going to be editing a short, very short coffee video. Yes, and you're going to be doing it by yourself, and you will export it by yourself. So you will have your own video that you have created by yourself, and you can even showcase it as your own video. Yes, because you did it yourself. So let's continue. Let's move on. We have, this is the next footage that I want in. This is the next footage. But this footage, before bringing it in, I don't think I want everything, because I think it's just too long for my liking. So what I do is take it back. Let's go back again. Before bringing it into the timeline, I double click it like I said. I double click it. Let's bring this to the last point. Now, shortly before I move on, you would see that as soon as I brought my first video in, you would see this arrowhead. Yes, this arrowhead is what we call the playback head. Now this playback head, you can always drag it to wherever you want. You can always click on this place, right? Click on it to to view your footages, as long as your footages are. So yes, you can always use it. Drag it backward, drag it forward to view your footages. That is your playback head. It's just like your cursor indicating where you are at every point in time in your video. You understand? So moving on, I don't want all this coffee video. I don't want everything. I don't want to drag everything inside. It's too long. So what I do is I double click on it, and now it's already showing in my source monitor, or I call it the source panel, whichever one I call it. The point is the source monitor or the source panel. So what I do is I'll play it. Let it play. But I really don't want everything. I really don't want everything. So I will, as I've double clicked on it, let me play it from the beginning. I don't think I want. Okay. So starting from here, you can see that I'm also dragging it, the play head here. You can also see the play head in this source monitor. Interesting. Yes, the play head is also here to also guide you to navigate around. But you can only navigate one video in the source monitor, but in the timeline you can check as many videos, you can work on as many videos as possible. That is the difference between the two of them. So I will drag it to this place because I don't think I want all of this that much. So I will click on my eye. Now I means your in point. I means your in point, that is your mark in. Now once I click on I, it means at this particular point I want my video to start. And then, okay, so let's do that. It's either you click on I, it will automatically work, or you click on this. You see this arrow that looks like a bracket, kind of like a bracket. Yes. So that is called mark in. So you click on it, or you click on I. So I will drag it to the next place, the last place where I want to see in my video. I'll drag it there. So I don't want everything like that. So I just want to drag it to this place, and then I'm going to click on O so that you can understand. Either you click on this or you click on O. So I'll click on O. So that's already marked that point. See that this point has been marked. Also, this point has been marked. Do you understand? So after I have done that, after I have marked my in point and my out point in my source panel, I could either do two things. One which is to either drag it and drag it here. Yeah, that would be the manual way of doing it. Or I could bring this my playhead to the end of the video. You can always use your keyboard, your forward arrow key and your backward arrow key on your keyboard to also direct your arrowhead. Can you see that? I'm clicking on my keyboard and I'm using it to push it forward. I could use my hand, but if I want it per frame, like little by little, I don't want to drag it too much, because when you click your arrow, it moves your playhead by one frame. So I'll move this to the end of the video, and I am going to click on clicking on this. I'm going to click on comma. Now my comma means means that it is going to help you to insert the video to that point where your arrowhead is. So automatically, instead of you dragging it yourself, it will insert it. So let's try something again now. Say my arrowhead is not at the end, my arrowhead is here, and I click on comma. It will. Are you listening? Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead of it going to the end to put it at the end, it will put it at the end. You see that point where your arrowhead is? It will copy that video and place it there, and it will split the initial video that was there and split it into two. So let me show you what just happened. So this is your first video where the coffee beans, where they're showing how the coffee bean is poured, and then with the camera moving out, with the way, with also the coffee bean is moving out. Then also, then you will now see next the way the footage where the coffee beans is grinded, and instead of this to just be the end, you will see the ending of the coffee beans being poured. That is because my arrowhead was in the middle of my footage. It was in the middle of my footage, so it affected my footage, and it automatically just cut through my footage and it entered into it. So to avoid that, you can always go to the end, drag your arrowhead to the end of the footage, or instead of going through the hassle of dragging it, and just click on this arrow here. Just click on this arrow here. Please go to out. It will automatically go to the last second of the video. Then you will come here and then you will click on your comma. So it will insert your video for you. But for the, let's do Ctrl Z. There's an but if I want it to, the video, the footage that is here, to overwrite the video, the footage that is already here, I'll just click on full stop. I'll click on full stop. I'll press full stop instead of pressing comma, and from that point forward, it is going to automatically cut out that initial video that was there completely. If you cut it out completely, it's not even, it won't, the other time it splitted it into two and it stayed in the middle. That was insert, but this one is override. So whatever footage is found after your playhead, it is going to overwrite everything. You're going to see it there. So that is that shortcut. That is how to use that shortcut. So I just told you a new shortcut now. Your full stop and your comma. Good. So instead of doing that, I will just click to the end of my video, then click on comma, so that it can insert my video for me. So that it can insert my video. So I have my video already. So after doing that, you can see that when we play our video moves in the forward direction. So that is how your video plays. It plays in that direction. So you also have to be adding your videos in that direction. So this is F2. Let's move on to bringing the next footage in. Let's bring in the next footage, F3, F4. Let's drag in F4. Now, while I'm dragging it, you can see a black line. You can see this black line. Yes, you can see that black line. Now, what that line does is that it helps you to snap your video, your footage, to the previous footage that was there. So you won't go through the hassle of trying to be so meticulous in dragging your video to bringing it close to the previous video, because if you don't do it well, then you could have a space between it, and let's say I drag it like this, and I'm going to have a space between my footage, and there will just be a blank space with nothing happening between my footage. Do you understand? So instead of doing that, Premiere Pro has made it so easy for us that there is something that will help you, just like a magnet. It brings it without you making any effort. It brings you close to the last footage that was there. Now, if this is not happening on your Premiere Pro, just come to these icons here on top of this place. You can see this icon. Yeah, this particular one, it says snap in timeline. If it is clicked out like this, it won't happen. I have clicked it out. It is not clicked, so you see that it won't show that black line again, that snapping line again. So in order to avoid that, I'm just going to click it and then drag it to the end of my previous footage, or the last footage that was there, and so we can continue with that. Yeah, so we're already having a story. Video editing is not just about creating videos, just putting things together. It's about telling a story. It's, you know, your videos must have a meaning. There must be a story behind what you're talking about. So you are going to see the story after this video. So yeah, so we're going to put our F4. We have two more footages and we'll be done with arranging. And we have our F5 and lastly our F6. Our F6. So you see this space is already getting tight. I mean, there's no space again, so you can always drag, yes, to zoom out. You can always drag this line down here to zoom out. Then you come to your F6 and you drag it to the end of the last footage that was there. So we have all the footages that we want. So once I play it, it keeps running through and it seems like, ooh, we have a video. We've arranged some nice clips. So your video continues to play in that direction. So we're making progress. We're doing something. So now just arranging your videos doesn't say much. There isn't much about that. What do we do after arranging our videos? But before we move to that, I would love to explain something, and it's called sequence. Sequence is like the size of your video. It is very important to note the sequence of your video because you are going to be posting your videos and there are different sizes of videos on different social media platforms. You understand? So the best sequence, say for YouTube, the best sequence that you could use for YouTube videos is, so to do that, before I even say that, let's go to sequence. We'll go to sequence settings. So most of the time, the time base is 24 frames per second. And 24 frames per second. So we could just leave it there. Let's just put it at 24 frames per second. So you can see that this frame size, this particular the frame size is what I was talking about when I said sequence. Yeah. So this frame size now is 1280 by 720 pixel. I don't want this, even though that is still okay, but I don't want this frame size for my video. I want it to be 1920 by 1080 pixel. That is the common frame size for most YouTube videos. 1920 by 1080 pixel, and then I click on enter. So I should have done this earlier on, even before importing my videos at all. I should have done this earlier on because now it is going to affect all of my footages, because now you can see that normally now my initial file size is smaller. Can you see that? It is smaller, and now we have blank spaces. You can see that. Let me drag this down so you can see it very well. And now we have blank spaces around my video. Yeah, so now, so we don't want that. So when you are doing yours, make sure that before you import your videos, before you start to arrange your videos rather in your timeline, make sure that you set your sequence. And the sequence for most TV sizes and YouTube video sizes is 1920 by 1080 pixel. Just type in, go to sequence settings, and you type it in here, 1920 by 1080 pixel. Moving on, we are going to be adding our sound effect to our videos, because without sound effects the video sounds bland. It feels like when you are cooking and there is no seasoning at all. Yes, your food is already smelling nice. I mean, smelling nice, and it comes for you to just taste it and everything is just bland. That is what your sound effect does to your music. It gives it some touch of, and you're like, ooh, it makes your video so real, like it is like you actually shot it yourself with all the sound and everything in it. Do you understand? So now for this first video, you can see that they are pouring, like they are inside the video, they are pouring coffee beans, but Yet we cannot hear anything. So you need to get a sound effect that where they are pouring things. Yes, I mean that. So to make it to spice your video up, your sound effect is very, very important. So let's come out of this place. Yeah, so let's the back arrow and open our sound effect. Yes, so for our sound effect, we have coffee beans for pour. So I'm going to be dragging our coffee beans pour audio. And you see me dragging it under because your audio always goes behind your footage. I told you that earlier. Your audio goes behind your footage all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Yes. So now when you play it, oh my god, you can hear that. You can hear that. Yeah, but it's still playing. It's still they are still pouring the coffee beans. So what you just have to do is to duplicate it, or you can drag it again, so it can continue. But towards the end, you need to be very, very take you need to be very observant. Like you need to take note of your sounds very well so that it can look very, very, very real. So you won't just do the work and you'll be like, oh no. You need to make sure your work looks like a pro's work. So towards the end, you would observe that the sound of the coffee beans is already reducing, like now droplets, like just few drops. But rather in the video, we still have them pouring a lot of it. So what you do instead is just cut. You remember in the previous module I told you about the tools, how to use the tools? Yes. So now you click on C, which is your cut tool. So you will cut out that part where the sound of the coffee beans is already reducing. You cut it out. I've cut it, and I'll click on V. Pick that part that I've cut and I don't want, then I will delete it. Instead of dragging, say let's say I have a lot of audio in front of this audio track audio in front of this. Instead of me to start dragging it one by one, to relieve me of that stress, I'll come to the space, I'll right click, and I'll click on ripple delete. So ripple delete helps you to snap your videos and your audios together, and everything even behind the audio will come together. So when you're working on your video, you can always do that. You will click on right click on that empty space, then it will bring up ripple delete. Click on ripple delete, and everything will close up. So let's listen to this work. Okay, so when we got that's the end of that clip there. So let's cut it away. So we delete it. So now towards this one now we just have small droplets, which we can also use this. We can use this audio for this footage. Yeah, you can see that. You can see that. So the audio is also short, so you can just bring it up again. So I think the video is just too much. It's too long rather. It's too long, so I'll just cut it from here. I don't think I want that long video. Delete. So remember what I said about ripple delete. Right click, ripple delete, and everything, the rest of the videos come together. So in this next footage, you can see that the waiter is pouring the coffee from the machine into the cup. So we're going to use this this sound effect rather, coffee perking. I think it goes more with it. You just try out different things to see which one actually works best. That's how the system works. So come here. Okay. Let's try to cut away some part of that at the beginning because the machine didn't start away from the beginning. So we can just have this. Okay. Okay. And so when it was done, he removed it. So when it was done, he switched off the tab. He switched it off. So we shouldn't let the sound of our parking continue further than that. So stop it. Then you cut away the rest of the audio. So let's continue. Now in this video now, the waiter is trying to pour the coffee from the jar into the coffee cup. Yeah, very, very short pouring. So we have this audio of coffee pouring. Drag it. Okay. Stop it where it's about to stop. Okay. And then let's cut it off. Now, delete the rest of the audio, we don't need it. The next clip, you can see that they are pouring milk into the coffee. You'll observe that when they are pouring coffee, it's thick and it is almost inaudible. So what you will do, let's find a kind of a sound effect that would go with it. Okay, I think we should just still use the one we used initially. We just have to make do with it. But when you make your research and you download, you can search for better sound. Just try out different sound effects and you see which one really works best for it. So let's move the video. I'm moving my video by using back arrow on my keyboard to take it back. Okay, so yes, so it started pouring from here, so we can drag our clip, our sound effect to the beginning. So okay, stop there. Then it starts to pour again. So you can see that it starts to pour again. So that point where it starts to pour, you can drag your audio to the place and then it starts to pour again. So can you see that we are already arranging something? Oh my god. Don't let me see, we're arranging something. We're already cooking something. Something nice is being cooked. And we will soon be done with our cooking. And then you can see that the last clip is just a show of this of the coffee. So for this, we are done with adding our sound effect. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to add our music to our video, music background. Now this is like when you are just adding, some just garnishing it top, just trying to make it look attractive. Say you are serving food to babies now, you want to make use of colorful plates, colorful veggies, your carrots, not babies, I mean children rather, just to make the food attractive to them. Not children, you have to force them to eat, yes. But when you try to make the food attractive to them, at least it makes them to want to eat. Yes. So you click on your, let's go back to the back arrow. Yes. Then we open up the music bin and we drag in our music background. Yeah, you drag it right under the track where you were arranging your sound effects. Your work needs to be organized. it needs to be organized. So your music is going to be under it. That's how it works. So let's start. Since we've dragged our music now, let's listen to it. Oh my god, this is so noisy. This is so loud, rather not noisy. Do you get what I'm saying? So now, even if you watch, you can see your video peaking at this place. Can you see? You can see your video peaking around that side. Yes, it is peaking so loud. So you can see it going up. And I said in the previous module that the normal range for your audio should be from -6 decibel to -12 decibel. So for your audio, this your music background, you can always reuse it. We can do reduce it uh, using different methods, but I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to come here. This is my music background, and this is its track. So I'm going to open up the track by just dragging it down a bit. So yeah, I've dragged it down a bit, and now I can see a line. You can see the line. Yes, so that line is like the loudness of or you can use it to control the loudness of the music. So I'll just drag it down. Can you see? I'm bringing it down to -12.8 decibel, -21.8 decibel. Now I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to really, really reduce it because I want to hear the sound effect more than the music. Do you understand? More than this. So I just want to hear this music in the background. So they won't be the music won't be like they are interfering. There's like interference and then they are clashing. When that happens, it becomes a noise. Yes, it's just a noise. So let's listen to this and see. So let's close up our track and let's listen. So you can see, as you can see, music and sound effects are no longer clashing. Now there is like, should I say, peace between the two of them. So yeah, so it is better now to the ears. Yeah. So now we have arranged our footages, we have arranged our sound effects, and we have arranged our music. Oh my god, if you are following along, you don't know what you have done. You are now becoming a video editor gradually. Let me start praising you. Yes, yes, you are doing well. So, what next after this? We are going to be adding our text to our videos.